Presented by Bartow Builders here on 1240 Radio, WOMT. Today's program is brought to you by Albert's Plastering since 1952, leaders in the plastering industry. Bitter Newman Appliance TV and Furniture. Brown Building Center, your locally owned full-service building center on the Lake Shore. Carpets Plus of America. Citywide Insulation, providing installation services for your home. Check Electric for all your electrical needs. Lakeland Landscape Service for your residential and commercial landscape design and installation. Maritime Plumbing and Mechanical, offering 24-hour emergency plumbing service. Prestige Custom Cabinetry and Millwork, your style, your needs, your budget, our cabinetry. Smoky Barbier Heating, whatever it takes. And by Bartow Builders, building a tradition of quality and honesty that goes beyond measure. And now, your host and producer, Brandon Bartow. This is Welcome Home.
Good morning to our listening audience. Hopefully everybody is shoveled out and cleaned up. Although it's not always the most pleasant to deal with, it sure is pretty out there. So welcome and thank you for listening to Welcome Home. I am Brandon Bartow, your host, and I look forward to offering you options and advice on new home construction, home remodeling, and home maintenance during our weekly show. We encourage you to call in to our expert on the show today at 682-0351, but we encourage you to stick to the topic that is relative to today's guest, please. If we do not have an answer for you right at our fingertips, we will encourage you to call Bartow Builders, and we will get you that information. Our guest this morning is Shannon Gretz from Citywide Insulation. Shannon, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Brandon. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. So Shannon and his team at Citywide Insulation, they do a lot of insulation work for Bartow Builders projects. I personally have a good sense of what they do at Citywide Insulation, but I'm going to give Shannon an opportunity here to tell you what products and services they offer just in summary, and then we'll get more into that throughout the show.
Yeah, here at Citywide Insulation, we do a long list of products. Our main focus are the insulation projects for residential, commercial, and remodeling projects for the homeowners. We also install seamless gutters, superior fireplaces, Hacker gypsum concrete flooring, and Core Fill 500 block foam.
Okay, great. Yeah, and we've had the opportunity to use some of those services through you as well. Shannon is our primary contractor for insulation on our new homes and remodel projects, but we've also had the opportunity to use him for seamless gutters and some fireplaces in the past as well. So that's great. So Shannon, do you work... does your company work directly or only with contractors, or do they also work directly with the homeowner?
We'll work with both. 90% of our business is with the contractors directly, but we do a lot of work with homeowners on their own who are generating their own projects, or whether or not it's just a small remodel project, or even if they just want to add insulation to their attic.
Okay. All right. So is there an advantage or disadvantage to having a contractor involved, or does that matter?
The advantage would be if a contractor is involved, if when I'm out doing the estimate, and I find an area where there's something of concern that needs to be fixed, where then there's a contractor in the loop and he can be made aware of the issue right away and get it addressed.
Okay, so the contractor then can take care of the other issues that are associated with in order for you to finish your work.
Correct.
Okay, great. And then the next question I had for you is, how does our listening audience get a hold of Citywide Insulation should they choose to do a project? And is there anything that they need to be, is there anything that they need to have prepared for you before they call you? So any type of information, stuff like that?
We can be reached at our direct office in De Pere at 920-336-2603, or we can also be found at www.trueteam.com. So that's trueteam.com. As far as preparation for us to come out and do an estimate, there really isn't anything that the homeowner would have to do, with the exception of knowing what they're looking for an estimate on. But we will come out and do a full evaluation of the house and take a look at what their needs are.
Okay. All right. And then what is the typical service that you provide? So if I'm the homeowner right now, I'm writing down your information right at home, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what information does, or not only what information am I going to provide Shannon, but I guess the question would be is what is the typical project that you guys do for the average homeowner if they're calling you directly?
Typically, the average project we do for homeowners is the attic insulation and ventilation, or also insulation of the box sills.
Okay. And let's talk about that briefly. I know that that's one of the biggest things that we see when we do a remodel. So oftentimes at Bartow Builders, if we're going in and we're meeting with a customer and we're talking about a potential remodel, usually the attic comes into play. Now, there may not be any reason at all to go into that attic, but oftentimes, as you're aware, Shannon, we will find, and just based on our historical information and our knowledge of building science, that we need to look at that attic and verify that things are tidy up there. In other situations where we are disturbing the attic, such as moving wires around, maybe moving some ventilation or possibly even some ductwork in that attic system, well, now we've disturbed the attic. So at that point, that's when we've always called you guys in. Now, when you go up there and you take a look at that attic, what are things that you're looking for, whether it's after our disturbance of the remodel work or prior to?
The first thing we're looking for is the proper ventilation, to make sure that we have ventilation coming up from the soffits so that you can ventilate the attic through, either the roof pods or the
ridge vent.
Ridge vent.
Yeah.
To make sure we got proper ventilation in there. After that, then we check the depth of the insulation. We also make sure that the bath fans, if there are any located in the attic, that they're vented out properly, so that we don't cause any problems by having condensation inside that attic.
So there's an example of two things that you guys would not take care of if you found were an issue. Number one, if there's no pot vents or ridge vent, that is not something that citywide insulation would do. You'd have to get a contractor involved. And then the other example that you gave was making sure that the ventilation of a bath fan is to the exterior.
Correct.
Yeah. And, that, Shannon, you bring up a great point there, that you guys are looking for that, which is certainly helpful because that's another contractor's eyes in on that job, is that that ventilation is to the exterior. Oftentimes we go into these remodels and we're seeing these bath fans, especially stuff that was done in the 70s and 80s, where those bath fans are just blowing into the attic. Can you describe what kind of situation is going on when people are actually using these bath fans that aren't connected to the exterior?
Well, basically what you're doing is you're taking conditioned air from inside your house and you're putting it directly into the cold space, which is the attic. In the summertime, it's usually not that big of a deal to put that moisture into the attic, but in the wintertime, when we're at sub-freezing temperatures, that warm moisture, it's going to direct itself right to the coldest surface it can find, and it's going to condensate, and then it's going to wet, and then you might have some mildewing and molding on there, depending on how long it takes to dry it out. So it's really not a good idea to have your bath fans venting straight into the attic space.
Right, and what we find this time of the year is we'll get people that will call and say that they have a leak somewhere. And I have to tell them it's kind of ironic that you don't have a leak when it's raining like crazy, but now you're having a leak now. So what's happening is they're creating that leak by throwing that warm, moist air up into the attic. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. I think what we'll do is we'll take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more in depth about different types of insulation and the things that you guys do at Citywide Insulation. Project called Bartow Builders of Manitowoc. Bartow Builders has been operating in Manitowoc and Sheboygan counties for 16 years, providing services in design, project management, production, and general contracting. As you think about those building and remodeling projects for 2016, call me, Brandon Bartow, at Bartow Builders for that professional guidance you deserve. For more ideas and information, I invite you to check us out on Facebook and visit our website at bartowbuilders.com.
Lakeland Landscape has been serving the Lakeshore community since 1973. During those 40-plus years, we have had the opportunity to meet new people and develop friendships that are very important to us. If you have landscaping in mind for 2016, now is the time to start planning. From initial concepts all the way through implementation, we can guide you through the entire process. We offer free design services that will guarantee that you end up with the right plants and materials for your particular landscaping needs. Please call Lakeland Landscape at 682-5707 or go to lakelandlandscape.com for more information.
Furnace on the fritz? Whether it's a quick fix or time for something new, you need a dealer who knows what it takes to warm things up. And a Bryant dealer does whatever it takes. It takes attention to detail, the right tools, and friendly, knowledgeable service. Bottom line, it takes a Bryant dealer to bring the heat.
It takes Smoky Barbier Heating Incorporated. Call 920-682-2073 or find us online at smokybarbierheating.com.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
Do you keep an idea file full of printouts and clippings of things you'd want in your dream home, but aren't sure how to get started? Hi, this is Paul Brown from Brown Building Center. Bring us your sketches, photos, whatever you have, and watch it come to life with the help of our experienced designers and the latest CAD software. Come see us today. We'll help you create one really great house, perfect for you, your family, and your budget.
Build it, fix it, do it now. In Manitowoc, Brown Building Center.
For all your plumbing needs, turn to the people you can trust for getting the job done right. Maritime Plumbing of Manitowoc. Maritime Plumbing is dedicated to superior customer service and competitive prices that you can depend on. They have a variety of tankless and traditional water heaters. They can even do custom kitchen and bathroom remodels. And yes, if you've sprung a leak, they still fix leaky pipes too. Give Maritime Plumbing a call today. You'll be glad you did. 920-682-8794. Maritime Plumbing. We won't drain your checkbook.
And now, let's get back to Welcome Home here on 1240 Radio.
Welcome back to Welcome Home. I am here with Shannon Gretz from Citywide Insulation. Shannon, right before the break, we were talking about attic insulation. And one of the products and services that we choose at Bartow Builders to use from Citywide Insulation is the attic air seal package on new construction. Now, what do you want to describe that attic air seal package, and then I can describe why it has benefited us?
Yeah, the attic air seal package is what is typically used by spray foam, and so it's a two-part spray foam, which we go into the attics of mostly new residential construction, and we seal all the penetrations. We seal around all the electrical outlets that are in the attic, the can lights. We seal all top of the top plates. We seal around any crevice along like attic knee walls, things like that, just to stop the air leakage coming out from the house.
Okay. Yeah, and we've saw a significant increase in our performance of our homes with the Focus on Energy program since we started doing the attic air seal package. So, Shannon, you brought that to my attention, I don't know, I'd say 3-4 years ago, and we've been using that product through Citywide Insulation. It's been incredible for the performance and of our homes when they're actually measured for performance after the project. So we appreciate having that service, and I would encourage people to consider that. Now, Shannon, is that something that somebody could do on an existing home, that, you know, like whether they're doing a remodel or they're just having major leaking problems and they decide maybe this is something we should consider?
Yeah, you can. It's a little more difficult with an existing home because you're moving around the existing insulation. You almost have to go inside the house and do a map of where everything is from underneath and then try to go locate it in the attic. We've done several hundred houses like that through some of the focus programs and the city programs for block grant money. So it is definitely available. We are able to do that. It just comes with a little more of a cost because of the extra labor involved to do so.
Okay, so we talked about we talked about the fact that this attic air seal package is a foam insulation product. I know that foam insulation product is also a product that we try to use in almost every application that we can, whether it's existing new construction, so brand new house, or if we're doing an addition. We try to use that foam product just because of the fact that it performs so well. But what other benefits come with that foam product, Shannon?
Well, the foam product creates an air barrier at about 2.5 inches of spray. Once you get to achieve 2.5 inches, you'll create an air barrier inside the house, which is similar to having a poly vapor barrier on the inside of a wall. So a lot of times in like box sills and things like that, where you're not able to achieve a vapor barrier, then you use the spray foam, and because it creates an air barrier.
Okay. And I know that one of the benefits that I think is just unreal, like when you when you see this actually applied by your guys in the field, your production crew, it's amazing to see that product just wrap around wires and holes and close things off so that we don't have those penetrations or potential leaks.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how much and where that spray foam will get to. I mean, butt joints on sheeting, you'll see the spray foam actually come out the outside of a butt joint on plywood sheeting. So the very smallest crack that spray foam is going to seal it up.
Yeah, and the other thing that I have no idea, Shannon, if there's any truth to this, I guess I can ask you right here on the radio, is does it offer any strength to the actual wall assembly by having that spray foam in there?
It does. It will improve the racking strength and the structural strength of the wall system. Although there has not been any real testing done on it because of the different variations of spray foam and because of the consistency of the product, because it's a two-part foam. It actually mixes at the tip of the gun, so there is a little bit of inconsistency at the product. So as far as being able to actually test it and get an actual UL or design rating on it, it's a little hard, challenging to do that.
Okay. Now, I heard you mention before box sill. For our listening audience out there, do you want to explain what the box sill is and the importance of getting that piece insulated and insulated well? Now, we use your services often in remodel projects. Oftentimes we find that existing homes built all the way up to almost 2000, where we're going in and doing some remodels, and we encourage people at that point to do the box sill. Now, can you explain that to our audience?
Yeah, the box sill is basically the floor system above your foundation. It goes between your foundation wall and your first floor. It's that little sill box or box sill area, which we're calling the box sill area, where we typically using spray foam.
Okay, and the benefit to actually putting that product in that location, from the basic knowledge that I have, is I always describe it this way to a customer. Let's say that your average temperature on the first floor of your house is 70 degrees, and anything below, roughly 4 or 5 feet of earth has a constant pressure or constant temperature of about 50 degrees. So what's happening is law of physics is going to tell you that the two are going to clash, and probably the place that they're going to clash the most and find the easiest air leaks is going to be at that box sill joint and
That's
location.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, great. So that's very important to make sure, like people are always concerned about heat loss and energy efficiency. Spraying that box sill at your house with this foam product that Citywide Insulation has to offer is an excellent opportunity for you to look into. Shannon, another thing that that I think that we should touch on real quick, back to the attics, because oftentimes I'll get customers that'll say to me, whether I'm there for a roofing project or I'm there for something totally irrelevant to their attic, they'll ask, I heard something or saw something on attic insulation, and they'll ask me how much insulation should be in my attic, assuming that they have a blown-in product and not a bat.
Yeah, right now the state building code is for an R38 insulation, which is about 13 inches. But the Department of Energy, for our climate that we live in, recommends that we should have an R49, which is about 16 to 17 inches of blown-in insulation. Okay.
And to make sure I understand correctly, if somebody has existing bat insulation that is laying between their rafters, which we see a lot of when we're inside of homes, can they blow a insulation product over top of that existing bat?
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's probably the best way to do it, and to make sure that they get those rafters covered. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. So we're going to jump into our next break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about some more product information and offerings from Citywide Insulation. When it comes to your next building and remodeling project, call Bartow Builders of Manitowoc. Bartow Builders has been operating in Manitowoc and Sheboygan counties for 16 years, providing services in design, project management, production, and general contracting. As you think about those building and remodeling projects for 2016, call me, Brandon Bartow, at Bartow Builders for that professional guidance you deserve. For more ideas and information, I invite you to check us out on Facebook and visit our website at bartowbuilders.com.
When it comes to putting the finishing touches on your walls, call the plastering contractor with 65 years of exceptional, affordable, unmatched quality and service. Call Albert's Plastering Incorporated. One call to Albert's Plastering will get your project done, start to finish. Board hanging, and plastering. There when you schedule them, the job completed to your satisfaction. Let the highly experienced crew at Albert's Plastering take your job start to finish, whether it's a brand new home or remodel project, service and repair work, residential or commercial. Each job is given individual attention. Call 920-825-7373 or visit us at www.albertsplastering.com. Let Albert's Plastering exceed your expectations. We look forward to working with you.
Electrolux at Bitterman Appliance TV Furniture has delivered delicious meals for over 90 years. With features like perfect taste convection ranges for flavorful, evenly cooked dishes, refrigerators that help keep all of your ingredients fresh, and dishwashers that offer a perfect clean. Exceptional taste starts with Electrolux and Bitterman. Buy Electrolux kitchen appliances now and receive a qualifying dishwasher or convection microwave free at Bitterman Appliance TV Furniture, Sheboygan and Manitowoc. Bitterman is your home delivered.
Did you know that at Prestige Custom Cabinetry in Millwork, we offer a wide variety of quality cabinets that will enhance the beauty of your home for years to come? Let our personalized designers work with you to create the space you've always dreamed of. Family owned and operated, Prestige Custom Cabinetry is a full-service custom cabinet company. To experience our distinctive quality, we invite you to stop into our showroom on Packerland Drive in Green Bay or visit prestigecabinetry.com for more information.
As a full-service electrical contractor, Czech Electric is the premier electrical contractor for all your industrial, commercial, and residential wiring projects. Part of the Lakeshore for over 35 years, Czech Electric has the advanced resources to provide your home with the electrical system designed for your lifestyle. For complete plan design to the smallest service call, you can rely on Czech Electric for quality work and precise installations. Let Czech Electric bring innovation and value to your electrical project. Call Czech Electric for all your electrical needs.
Czech Electric. The difference is quality.
You're listening to Welcome Home, presented by Bartow Builders, here on 1240 Radio, WOMT.
And we're back with Shannon Gretz from Citywide Insulation. I encourage you to grab a pen and paper if you have insulation needs at your home, because Shannon's going to be giving you some information here shortly as we wrap up the show. Shannon, we were talking about the attic and the importance of the attic. Is there any concern? Oftentimes we will have customers call us just to do a roof. Is there, and to put new shingles on, asphalt shingles, which is a typical application in this area. Is there any concern for the customer for the longevity of their roof as it pertains to their attic insulation and ventilation?
Absolutely. We look at attics as a two-part total package. I mean, without the insulation or without proper ventilation, your attic's going to underperform, which is actually going to affect the life of your shingles on the house.
Okay, so it's something that we need to make sure that we're talking to our customers about and making sure that they understand. And in order for us to put this roof on, we should also take a look at your attic, make sure that the attic is performing properly. Otherwise, you're going to have an issue with the warranty of this roof product.
Correct.
Okay, great. Now, the next question I have for you is, can you share with me your experience or your knowledge in the difference between cellulose and fiberglass insulation?
Well, they're both very similar but different products. Cellulose is basically recycled paper with some chemicals added to it to make it flame retardant. Fiberglass, which is naturally flame retardant, is made from spun glass. The R values between the two of them, they're very similar. They're about 3.5 to 3.7 per inch for both of them. And they act and they do the same things. They both use air to help slow down the heat escape from your house.
Okay.
So there's very little difference between the two products.
Okay. Now, in reading some literature, prior to the show just to make sure that I understood some of that correctly, because I know that we're using more fiberglass than we are cellulose by any means, but cellulose, if I'm understanding correctly, has a better opportunity for settling. Is that correct?
It has a settlement factor built into the install part of it. So we actually have to, when we're blowing the insulation into the attic, we have to go and blow additional and above and what the actual settled R value depth is going to be. So without the actual numbers in front of me, say we have to blow, we need to achieve an R38 and you have to have 12 inches. We might have to blow to the depth of 13.5 so that the settled depth will comes down to 12 inches.
Okay.
With fiberglass, you just go to 13 inches and then you're done.
Okay, so how do you guys decide at Citywide Insulation which product you're going to use, or do you use primarily fiberglass and you'll use cellulose if requested?
We primarily use fiberglass and we'll use cellulose if requested. The one and the only reason for it is that fiberglass is easier to install, it's cleaner, and it's a lot easier on the guys installing the insulation in the attic.
So what would be a reason why somebody would choose cellulose?
Just from preference.
Okay.
So we have some customers that they prefer to use cellulose, and then we use cellulose.
Okay. Now, another thing that I'm understanding correctly is you can also take that fiberglass blown-in insulation and you could do what's called a blown-in blanket or a blown-in bat system in an exterior wall. Can you describe that process?
Yeah, that process is called dense packing. So with new construction, what we do is we do a woven netting over the studs of all the exterior walls, and then we blow the insulation into the stud cavities and dense pack it in there for a higher R value. We also can do the same with existing walls of a home, where we would drill a hole from the outside of the house, dense pack the cavity of all the studs, and insulate the wall cavity that way.
Okay. So, like, if we were doing an older home where we didn't want to go, or we're not doing anything to the interior of the house, we could go from the exterior after we take off of the siding.
Correct.
And then you would drill holes in different locations, and you guys would blow it in from that direction.
Yep.
Okay. Now, is there any concern that the customer has to have about you coming from the outside? I mean, is it going to put any pressure on the walls or anything like that?
There's always a concern with the older homes with the plaster, especially some of the cement-based plaster, that you could get some additional cracking or some holes might blow out just because we are adding pressure to that wall cavity. But it's always a concern, and it does happen, but it's rare that it does.
Okay. So, Shannon, if somebody calls Citywide Insulation, and once again, we'll have you give that information here shortly, are you personally going to go out and take a look at that, or do you guys have different people that stop out?
Yes, we have several different sales guys that work with me at Citywide. I primarily handle the Lakeshore, so it could be more than likely it would be that I would be the one coming out to the estimate.
Okay, great. So could you give our listening audience one more time your information and website as to how they can find you, Shannon, at Citywide Insulation?
Yeah, you can call our office at 920-336-2603. You can ask for me directly. Otherwise, you can also find us on the internet at www.truteam.com. That's TRUTEAM.com.
Okay, and a little accolade for Citywide Insulation. As I've stated, we've been using Citywide Insulation for about 15 years. Have a great relationship with Shannon and his team. They are very professional. The thing that you're going to find about them when they show up on the job site is they're very prepared. They will not put their guys in dangerous situations, so things have to be prepared well, and Shannon will make sure that happens. So thank you, Shannon, for being our guest on Welcome Home, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
All right, thank you for having me on, Brandon.
All right, next week's guest on Welcome Home will be Jim Check from Check Electric, discussing the importance of maintenance on the electrical system in your existing home. Tune in every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. to Welcome Home. Thank you for listening.
Today's episode of Welcome Home, presented by Bartow Builders, was brought to you by Albert's Plastering, Bitter Newman Appliance TV and Furniture, Brown Building Center, Carpets Plus of America, Citywide Insulation, Check Electric,